And finally, here's one from Rip the Pro. That's a name from your past. Could you envision your legendary path without Mid-Atlantic Crockett Promotions in the 70s?
Absolutely not. They're as responsible for it as anybody.
And you went from training in AWA and performing there right to Crockett. Did you have any other options then, or was Crockett pretty much it?
They reached out to me. I was Wahoo, went to George Scott, and they called me, and I said, "Hell yeah!"
Well, and that's it.
It's a call to call. Everybody waits for when somebody wants you.
And that's the key too. I sometimes see where wrestlers like try to go. Well, it's different now with only the handful of companies, but you should go where you're wanted, not where you want to go. Correct? I think some
Exactly.
wrestlers have some wrestlers made that mistake in the past, trying to kind of shoehorn their way in somewhere.
Um, yeah, I mean, I think it's always better to go to a place where you've been asked to come. I mean, that would be my take on it.
Well, Nate, another successful podcast finished, not without some trepidation, but it was tremendous as usual. You spoke your heart, you spoke your mind, and you did it again. You're still the greatest. One more podcast on, and you are still numero uno.
Thank you.
That is Ric Flair. I'm Mark Madden. We'll be back next week with Woo Nation Uncensored.
Woo!
That match the other night, the AEW between Lance Archer and Hangman Page, was a lot of blood. And we have talked frequently about blading, which you turned into an art form, if I do say so myself. But one thing I forgot to ask you when we talked about it, what's the worst you ever bled? And did a cut ever get out of control to where you were worried about things as they were happening?
No.
You always felt like it was cool.
Yeah. I liked it when they got the staples and the stitches. The staples easy. The stitches could be a pain in the ass.
Really, why would the staples hurt less than the stitches?
Boom, 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 boom.
You're just done, right?
You're done. The stitches, Novocaine and all that shit. I mean, if they catch you fresh, like me, I always get it done before I take a shower. You know what I mean?
Right.
Sometimes I say shower up and come back. I go, no, just I'll shower, fix me now. While I'm still boom, boom. You know what I mean?
Now,
It's when the adrenaline wears off that shit hurts.
you never use super glue like some guys did, do you?
No.
What do you think of that? That's kind of a sketch alternative.
They have put glue on top of the staples before, but it was a bad one.
Oh, I've seen guys. I was backstage at ECW once, and I forget who did it, but I saw a guy just actually super glue the cut.
Yeah, I've never done that. No.
Yeah, I'm not sure I would want to. What's the most days in a row you ever bled? Because I bet it's a lot, but still your scar tissue, as we've talked about, isn't that bad.
Well, I probably could say I bled every day one time, a couple times for a whole year.
Really?
Why wouldn't I? I mean, especially back in the time when I was doing those hour matches, I couldn't wait to get the blade out. You could get if nothing else is going on, you could always get it with a blade.
Now, your white hair was made for blood.
Yeah.
One of my first exposures to Ric Flair, apart, I think I told you, Rick.
I used to like swing it in the crowd.
Well, I've told you many times, and certainly years ago, when I was a kid, the first time I saw you was, if you hung a UHF antenna out the window of my house, because I lived on the high still in Pittsburgh, you could get, I forget if it was the station from Johnstown or Steubenville, either Johnstown, PA or Steubenville, Ohio, but they had Mid-Atlantic Championship Wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
So I saw that stuff. It was on 1 a.m. right after WWF on WOR TV from New York. So that was my first exposure. But my other exposure was you on the cover of the After magazines, like The Wrestler and Inside Wrestling.
Yeah.
Do you have any of those pictures? Some of those pictures with you bleeding and the white hair were unbelievable.
I had all of them, but once again, they're in the hands of somebody that decided to keep my memorabilia.
One of the wives. We got to get it all back someday, Nate. What do you think?
Yeah, that would take a lot of groundwork.
That's true.
Isn't it funny? Last week I discussed how Tiffany stole 7 robes. That didn't make the news. Isn't that crazy?
Well,
Nobody cares about shit that's real. They always want to jump on the stuff that's make believe.
What would make it tough to reassemble everything, you have to make too many stops.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, Rick, here's a legit question. How different would your life have been if the prime of your career had been today, where the guys work so little by comparison? Would that have been good for your life? Would it have been bad? Would it have changed your life? Would you have liked it? What if
Here,
you would have wrestled in your prime now?
I told you that neither company has enough money.
Let's just say what if.
What if I'd be the God? I would have. I don't know. I mean, I think I could. I think I would have done very well.
No,
But here's the issue: the conduct issues because of social media would have really. I couldn't have lived within the confines of what they're asked to do in terms of social media.
oh, I don't know, Nate. I think you would have adjusted. I think if you would have come
Well,
along.
I can always adjust, but what made me go along way up was having fun. If I wouldn't have fun, as you know, at WCW at the end, I wasn't having fun. I was miserable. But and with Erd, I was miserable. But the whole rest of my career was awesome. So
Well,
you take 2 or 3 years out of it, out of what'll be 50 years next this September. Um, Man, I gotta live that. I gotta live until September 7th. Um, I'll be extremely happy. I mean, you can't take 2 or 3 years of misery and let that, which I have done for a short period of time, dictate how successful your career was.
well, nobody's had a more successful career than you, and God bless Wendy and you. And Wendy's always been
Yeah,
great to me and very
she's doing great.
inclusive.
She's doing
She's
great.
awesome.
Hey,
Again,
you know what it's like standing there for 8 hours, signing all day long and talking to people? And then because me, I always wanted to go to the bar afterwards. There's no day off.
now another thing you wanted to talk about.
All of St. Louis.
It was awesome. It was awesome. I had just a terrific
That
time,
was
as you know.
that was just the first day of a 3-day gig for me.
No, no. Every day is the first day of a 365 gig for you, Nature Boy. You know that.